Hello, Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the first of many Fireside chats that we will be running throughout 2021 here at PPC Protect. Today, we're going to start off and we're going to discuss the importance of transparency in e-commerce. And I've got some top guests with me to offer their expertise in this matter. So we've got Neil Andrew, he's my CEO and CEO of PPC Protect, who protects over $100 million worth of e-commerce ad spend for fashion brands such as Nike, Hugo Boss and Diesel, to name a few. And then we've also got Callum McKeefery here. I hope I said that right, Callum.
Yeah.
He is the CEO of Reviews.io. And Reviews are a review and social proof platform to hundreds of e-commerce stores, such as brands like Euro Car Parts. And then we've also got Lee Mableson. He is the MD of Mabo Digital Agency, an e-com PPC specialist agency, and they help over 400 active clients, achieve some huge ROIs. People you might have heard of, such as Bump and New Era. So we're going to keep this to about 30 minutes, and over that next half an hour, we're going to touch on a number of questions related to our main topic, which I'll come to in a minute. And these were kind of questions that were, sent in and asked for by some of the people and some of our clients that we work with. So I just want you to all kind of relax, grab a brew, and enjoy the session. Hey guys, are you all ready for this?
Yeah.
Good. Lots of enthusiasm there. That's what I love. So I want to kick stuff off. So the importance of transparency in e-commerce. So the first question we got asked really is how important is transparency in today's world? So Callum, do you want to start this one off, mate?
Yeah, I think massively. I mean, transparency's got to be your number one thing now that consumers expect. I mean, transparency around delivery, returns, payment options, and then the social proof building into that transparency from what your past customers have experienced, and having genuine reviews there, but also those other elements as well. Your delivery, your returns, your payment options. They're your big things now. You've got to have them, and if you've not got those transparent elements towards your business, you're really not going to be able to compete, because the big players are like ASOS, like Amazon, like the Misguideds and the Boohoo's. They are transparent about their returns, they are transparent about their payment options, and they're really upfront. You've got to have it.
Yeah, I think in terms of businesses is in general, people seek information. It's part of the checkout process, isn't it? They'll go through all of the steps, the mental checks for themselves to try and find information. If they can't find it, if there's a stumbling block for them to that sort of puts them off, or they would have to get in touch to ask a specific question about returns or about whatever that might be, then it puts people off. The worst thing you can do in e-commerce and in business, is try and distract someone from taking the action that you actually want them to take. So if the ultimate goal is for them to check out and they need these steps and information to do that, then don't keep it from them. It just doesn't make sense to, especially when there would be typical answers, I suppose. So why keep that to yourself? But no, it's really important. It is really key, and having that sort of being as open as people want you to be is key to success, I think. Especially in e-com. People don't want to talk to you. They don't want to pick up the phone anymore. They don't want to have a conversation. They don't have to send an email. Just you give them all the information that they need to to fulfill the action that you want them to, and then hopefully they will. Certainly a high percentage than not. So.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. I think you touched on a really key point there about having that information immediately accessible as well. We live in, I guess, the social media age, if you want to call it that. Everyone's hitting Twitter with a 5-second attention span, and you don't hit them in that time, then you're going to lose them. So I think having all of that immediately available, whether it's e-com or whether it's other areas of business as well, I think transparency is more and more important. I mean, you go back 30, 40 years and you have business dealings done in smoky boardrooms with the blinds drawn, and it's all a little bit underworld and a bit mysterious. It's just not like that anymore. you guys obviously see it in e-com, we see it with e-commerce clients, we see it in the SaaS space. So it's all about being upfront of who you are, what you do, who you work with, what the outcomes are. Like, just like you say, get people that information and you'll be much more successful.
Yeah. So saying that, guys, do you think transparency, obviously in business, it affects sales a lot? Have you guys experienced, when it's not, if you've not been as transparent, or if of, maybe competition or anything like that, and how it might affect sales as well?
Yeah, we see, even as far as going as far, we do a lot of work with Google. 90% of the management services we offer is done through Google Ads. But they are on top of it now. They're trying to police things. If advertisers don't have returns policy on websites, we can't put them forward for Google Shopping and things. So they're trying to sort of encourage that. But yeah, it's I would have said it. It is obviously it will put people off. You can't, as I say, if there's a stumbling block, if people don't know how safe they are in terms of a return policy, how much time they've got to do that, what the process is, whether they have to pay for that return or not, it's all things that will stop people from getting to that end goal. I always try and think of my own personal circumstances when I'm shopping, because a lot of digital, it's just common sense. We're buyers as well. We shop online. We use e-commerce to get loads of Amazon packages delivered and stuff. It's that type of environment. You have to put yourself in those shoes. If you didn't have certain information that you would need, it would put you off from checking out. So yeah, I think sales numbers would absolutely be impacted by that information. And as I say, we're in an age of people that just don't want to talk anymore. They want everything sort of in front of them, and that's key.
The best thing an e-commerce company can do is ring up their past 10 customers and ask them what was their hesitations before they purchased. What were the things that they looked at? Ring up their past customers and go, right, before you purchased with us, what was the process? What was the thing that you hesitated about? And then try and answer that on your site. And that's what you really should be doing, is removing these hesitation points and having these transparent and trust factors on your page removes these hesitation points. But if you don't know what they are, just ask your past customers. Get close to your past customers so that then you know what those hesitation points are, because every business is different. Talking about SaaS and talking about insurance and talking about e-commerce, all of those are different, and they're all going to have different pain points that need to be addressed. With e-commerce, massively, you need your returns, your delivery, your reviews, and your payment options. With insurance, it's different elements, but if you don't know what they are, the best thing you can do is speak to your past customers and try and learn from them. That's what we're doing for our own solution for reviews.io. We speak to our past customers and go, right, you're a client now, but what are your hesitation points? When we do that with clients, but also people who don't sign up with us and maybe sign up with another platform, we'll try and learn from that, and then we'll surface those points higher on our pages so that we try and answer them. So we're removing those hesitation points and pushing people down the funnel faster. I think that's what transparency does. It gets people through your buying journey much quicker, which ultimately more effective advertising and more sales.
I really like that take on, speak to your past 10 customers. I think a lot of SaaS companies are probably fairly similar. So, we do that. We go out to our previous customers, the ones we win, the ones we don't win, and we say to them, why didn't you convert, or why did you convert? What convinced you, and so on. But I think in e-commerce, it's something that isn't really done. Like, there's not much thought in it. It's just, order comes in, package it up, send it out. That's it. It's done. But actually, you do need that client communication. You need to be able to speak to them and get that feedback, because you're not going to get it any other way. I mean, we saw a study that our own data backs up in the SaaS space, but I'm sure it's just as applicable in e-commerce. And it's for SaaS companies, 1 out of every 20 customers who encounter a bug will tell you about that bug. So you have 19 people that are encountering that bug that are not interacting with you in any way and are not telling you. Now, if you translate that into e-commerce, you're going to have maybe 1 out of every 10 visitors, for example, to your site that actually bought something, and 9 out of 10 that didn't for some reason. And you're not going to figure out what that reason is unless you actually get out there and ask those people. And I think being creative about that as well, like there's nothing wrong with, what in my mind, there's nothing wrong with picking up the phone, ringing a customer and said, "Oh, you placed an order from us. I'd just love to hear about your experience." Like if I was the customer on that end, that would make me an advocate of that brand for life. Like they value my opinion. I'm going to go back, I'm going to buy from them again.
Yeah.
And I think so many e-commerce companies are just trying to, set it and forget it. And that's it. We sit the order, it's done.
Isn't it?
Exactly.
They're throwing boxes out the door. And I think that'll change. I think this, this box, shippers, with the market will change on them, because they aren't close enough to the customer. That's really what we're talking about, is you've got to get, to be successful in the current market. I don't care whether it's e-commerce, insurance, or SaaS technology, or even services like yours, Lee. If the closer you can get to the customer is who's going to win. And if you can get a better understanding of your customer, whether that's you're selling socks online or whether you're a review company like us, if you can understand what their hesitation points are, I think you're going to always win. And you can do this via live chat. So if you've got your live chat set up, when that person comes back onto your site, you can see that they've ordered in the past, and you can go, right, hold on, I'm going to interact and say, and ask questions that way as well. As well as doing the traditional picking up the phone, you can actually do it via prompts and so forth. I think you can set up an intercom where it actually prompts a chat, and I'm sure you can do the same in live chat as well.
Yeah. For people to use through analytics as well. When I jump on you don't have to speak to anybody bandwagon, which obviously we're trying to go against it. But there's user explorer reports and Google Analytics. Obviously, I'm not trying to take anything away from speaking to people. Obviously, picking up the phone and doing that is absolutely the best thing to do. It's very, very personal. But yeah, there's user explorer reports and analytics. You can see exit pages. So if you can see that people are reviewing returns pages or privacy policy or whatever it might be, and then exiting the site, there's obviously an issue there. So you can try.
Yeah, massively. Yeah, I'm a big advocate of the analytics stuff. We use analytics daily. Well, everyone should do, because you can monitor your leakage. If your leakage goes up, if your bounces go up, and then they're not finding the information on your site, then that's what you need to be doing, is closing that gap.
Yeah, I think in a similar event as well, we had one of our e-commerce customers share some stats with us, which we thought were pretty interesting. It was 42% of visitors to their site checked their returns policy before completing a purchase. And what they found was that their returns policy, like so many returns policies that I see, they're written in legalese, I guess is what you could call them, rather than plain English. It's so difficult to understand what they actually mean. And if you have 42% of your shoppers, now this was a massive multinational brand, so they've already got a pretty good brand authority behind them. But you think people are going to trust them, and 42% of their users are still checking out that returns policy before they buy anything. If you're a much smaller, more niche e-commerce business that are perhaps competing against these types of brands, and you don't have a returns policy that's super clear in plain English, makes it very, very obvious what the user's going to get, you don't have a chance, really, do you?
See, for me, that's a mega number. Like that. It's
huge.
I would imagine maybe 2 or 3%. So to say, I'm looking at what we see, because obviously we've got widgets on pages and we can see where people go, almost like an analytics tool within reviews.io. And that's a massive, massive number. So whoever that is, there is something out there, whether they know about it, like it, or there's something out there, maybe a forum or a review platform is talking about them having a bad returns policy or something. Yeah. Because for that many people to be checking that returns policy, so that company should be resolving that, simplifying the returns policy, and surfacing that returns policy to build trust right at the top of their thing. Yeah. Almost the second thing on their site, or third thing after the hero image, is their returns policy, because their leakage, if they're getting 42% on that, it is going to be huge.
And their returns policy is trash, by the way. That's why I'm not naming them. So,
it needs simplifying. But I'd be worried about that. I'd be saying there is something out there that on forum review sites or something talking about returns being a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So this just gonna move on slightly. So this question came up quite a lot from a lot of people that kind of wrote in and asked us to talk about stuff, and I've got a feeling you guys are gonna have a lot to say about this one. But are fake reviews becoming a problem in e-commerce? I think it's quite a touchy subject for most, but quite an important one with, like I say, judging by the amount of people that have asked this question. So
Callum is itching to answer this one.
He is, I can see him. He's ready to go in there. He's wound up.
Fake
Go on, I'll
reviews
let
are
you
a
go.
massive problem for society in general, but massive e-commerce companies like Amazon and my competitor Trustpilot. And I'm mentioning them because Amazon and Trustpilot, because if you go on Twitter and you go on Facebook, or you just go search on Google, there's all these places where you can go and buy fake reviews, and it's a massive problem, and it's one that, as a review platform, CEO of a review platform, we take super seriously, and we have to try and combat that. I don't think at the minute the technology to combat fake reviews is as good as the people doing the fake reviews. In general, there is a couple of companies like ourselves which are doing a really good job of spotting fakes and removing them. Fake reviews are hard to spot when the reviewer, are easier to spot when the reviewer adds user-generated content. So what I mean by that is the videos and images. That adds a much stronger trust signal to the actual review itself. We get some of the ways people try and fake reviews is getting good. I mean, they're changing IP address. We do cookie drops, so we track device, screen size, browser, IP. Obviously, every little bit that we can get from those headers we'll use to try and identify a fake review. Now, even that then becomes hard. So what we've now done is done natural language processing. So we'll then look at the review itself and how it was written and the words used. And then I had a crazy idea, which I was on the phone to the bank one day, and HSBC, and they said, say your voice is your password. And I went, so I went, my voice is my password, and that was it. They let me in, because what they were doing there was using fluctuations in my voice as my password. That made me think about people's typing. People type, every single person listening to this, watching this online right now, types differently. Every single person. They hold down certain characters longer than other characters, and the space in between those characters is different. We now monitor that. So I don't care. We catch people who 1 minute call themselves John on one IP, one device, one browser, switch over and call themselves Alison, and they're using the same device, same keyboard. If they're I can tell if it's still a fake review via the typing pattern. That's how far it's gone. That's how far finding fake reviews has got. But the market as a whole hasn't caught up to that. They're not doing that yet. I wish really it's going to take an Amazon really to fix the mistrust in fake reviews. If you're an e-commerce provider listening, don't buy fake reviews, please, because you will get found out. You will get caught, and the damage that does for your brand you don't recover from. It's not something you can bounce back from. Because we've had it where generally the consumers are very good at spotting fakes. So people reading them are good, and they'll come in and then they'll go, that's fake reviews on that account. Then they'll go and put it on a forum. Then they'll go and put it on Facebook, and then that gets around that you've now got fake reviews on your site, and it can just be so damaging. So if you're an e-commerce provider, don't do fake reviews. You will get caught out eventually.
It's the best way to describe it. It's just cheating. It's a massive, as you say, trust signal for people to check out and to spend money with an advertiser, to cheat that. I don't know. It's wrong. Ethically, obviously, they're fake. So
the other thing is that we've seen some crazy things about companies actually doing astroturfing, which is where you talk bad about, you review your competitor. Astroturfing is when you review yourself in a positive light. But what we're seeing also is you reviewing your competitor in a negative light. And we've seen that a lot on Amazon, where last year Amazon had a huge problem with that. They have fixed part of it now by using the login IPs to track the review IPs. But they had a big problem with competitive sellers negatively reviewing each other's products on Amazon, and then basically they'd have this massive spike just before Christmas because there's like a 3-month ban. If you get so many negative reviews, you get banned, you get put in the sin bin, and literally you get put in the sin bin over Christmas. So, and last year that happened to a major electrical retailer who was selling components but actually got banned from selling those components on Amazon over Christmas period due to fake negatives.
The big problem with Amazon as well is it's not really their incentive to stop fake reviews. Obviously to make it look like they're perhaps just about doing enough, but the more user-generated content they have, the more reviews
That's what
they
I was
have.
going to say. That's what I was going to say. It's user-generated content. It increases their sales, right? The reason why people fake reviews is because they're powerful. If they held no power, there's no point in faking them. Yeah. People fake them because they increase their conversion. But don't do it because it's damaging. You don't need to. Concentrate on your customer, do good delivery, offer exactly what you're selling, and you'll get great reviews. You don't need to do fakes. It's so easy to collect good reviews, But yeah, I think it's a worry for the whole e-commerce ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd agree with that. I mean, for Amazon specifically, there are things like fakespot.com, which are quite useful, where you can stick a product in and it'll tell you if it's legit or not. But then I guess the argument there is, if a small startup, I think it's run by 2 people. So if a small 2-person startup can do that, why can't one of the world's biggest companies do it? Like you say, it's not in their interest, is it? So
I actually pitched some of the tech that we've been working on to Amazon. The keyboard tracking, and no interest.
Yeah, I mean, we see similar in the ad space as well. It's the ones that are selling the ads aren't necessarily interested in verifying if they're legitimate or not. It's the same on Amazon's side, isn't it? They're not necessarily interested in verifying if those reviews are legitimate or not. I do think as well it is a problem that goes. I mean, it goes beyond e-commerce. I know we're focusing purely on e-commerce for this, but it certainly does. I know in our space, I'm not going to name any names, but in our industry, there are people that are known for huge amounts of obviously fake reviews and huge amounts of fake reviews that have been removed and then have done it again on the same platform. And you think the cheek of it, how can you get away with that? But what a lot of these companies don't realize is, they sit down, they go on Google, they type buy, Google reviews or buy whatever reviews. Yeah. And they think, oh, that's it, I'll just throw a few at it. Nobody will know. I mean, it's easy to find out if you look at the review history of the profile as well, but that's kind of where they leave it. And what a lot of people don't realize is this isn't just unethical, it's highly illegal.
Yeah.
Like you can actually be criminally prosecuted in the US for doing this.
Yeah. So
And a lot of people don't see that.
no, I agree. I mean, I've had problems with fake reviews being written about reviews.io by our biggest competitor. Doesn't take a genius to work out who our biggest competitor is. I've called them out multiple times. Now, if I was wrong, they would sue me. They would own my house. They've never even tried to sue me. I provided all the evidence to them and they were like, oh, they didn't even offer an apology. But it was somebody in the US who had one of their team in the US had written several fake reviews, and one of them was on ourselves, and pretending to be a client of reviews.io and writing, I think it was reviews.io is rubbish, does many things but not good at any of them. And I just responded, I think you're maybe this certain competitor.
I wonder if that's the soundbite we should take for advertising this.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I suppose it's quite flattering, isn't it, that competitors like that, who is of that scale, are going out their way to try and rubbish your company because they're clearly worried about what
it's
you
hilarious.
do.
It's hilarious. But probably at that time I was 15 people stuck in, an office in Leicester. If they were worried then, they want to really be worried now. That's the thing. Like now we're Berlin, Sydney, LA, and still Leicester.
I was going to say the greatest city of them all, that one.
The champions.
I suppose it stresses the importance of what you do as well, Callum, at reviews in video reviews, because obviously harder to fake, unless you're going to go out and really find some good actors out there.
Even then you can't do it. The difference between a mum who's just got some bedding for a kid or like an actor. There's the passion. Passion comes through on video. Knowledge comes through on video. You can't. I've collected now tens and probably nearly 100,000 video reviews. None are fake. None, because it is hard to do. You can't do it at scale. You can't go on a site and buy 50 video reviews. You just can't do it. The video reviews, if I could stress to the video reviews will be the future of the industry, without a doubt, but it's how quick that happens, because video is authentic, and it builds a bond between the person making a potential purchase and the past customer. And literally, the company doesn't have to sell the product. The past customers are selling the product. We get some absolutely amazing ones where you go, how much would you pay for that? There's a guy with goggles. This company sells goggles called Magic 5. And they had this guy do a video review of him swimming in the goggles, and then comes out and he's got to be in California, and he's this 60-year-old bloke, and he's super good looking, super tanned, and he does his review on the side of the pool. It was amazing. When it came in, I was like, oh my gosh, this company is gonna win. And they've hammered that. They've put it on Instagram, probably 50 times now. They've got it everywhere because it just sells. Yeah. And if they had an actor do that, I guarantee you that wouldn't sell as much.
Yeah, it's just not genuine, is it? I suppose, Lee, you obviously use reviews, don't you? So I suppose you could probably give an insight into the impact those kind of reviews have made compared to written ones.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with Callum. That video, I dare say, will be the future of reviews. That what would it take to make a fake review? You're talking 2 to 5 minutes just to jump on a site. You look at the user that's left it. They've left one review before. We've had it. We've been attacked by competitors, and it's just sad. And they don't last. You report them, and sometimes they'll be taken down. Sometimes they won't. But we've been strong armed over people paying invoices and look, I've got 30 people at my company, I'm going to get them all to rinse your reviews and stuff. And it's like, you know, they are powerful. Reviews and the weight of that the reviews carry, they are powerful. You know, it's annoying from us, you know, from a Google perspective, their reviews aren't, they're not policed. They're not sort of, you know, the Google reviews that you can leave, you know, you get the opportunity to reply, I think, and that's it. There's nobody, you know, at Google's side that sort of reviews those. I mean, we've had, you know, and that's on Google's homepage. You type in a business name, you know, for somebody.
Google Local's hard.
Yeah, you know, and that can be really damaging, you know, especially when, you know, these sad people that are out to, you know, to lie about to that type of thing is you know, it's really sad. You know, you wonder what type of people they are in life in general. Obviously,
What I think's understated is that people don't look on one particular site to see your reviews anymore. They don't look on Trustpilot or just reviews.io or just Google Local or just Facebook even. They look on all of them. They do, you know, there's not one place. So what we get is a lot of clients come to us and go, oh, well, I'm with reviews.io, I've got a great score, or send all my customers there to leave a review, but I've got this terrible score on Trustpilot, or I've got a terrible score on Google Local. So what you've got to do if you're an e-commerce company is almost monitor all of those platforms and collect reviews, even just little, even if it's just ones just to keep topping up, to keep a score there. You need to have this holistic approach. You can't just have reviews on Trustpilot anymore and ignore everybody else. You can't literally just have reviews on Google Local and ignore everybody else. Because although you're ignoring everybody else, your clients aren't, your customers aren't. You need a score everywhere, the same score almost. Because if you don't, it creates hesitation. It creates, are those Trustpilot ones fake and the reviews.io real? Are those reviews.io fake and those ones real? You know, like it creates this hesitation. So what I will say about reviews is, if you're collecting and your business is, you know, basing itself off reviews, make sure you're using some kind of software. I mean, hopefully our software to do this, but some software that manages all the reviews from all the different platforms. So, and then what we do is bring them all into one timeline so that all your staff can see them in one go. So you can see if you've got a negative review on Google, a negative review on Facebook, and now you know, hold on, I'm going to push more of my customers to leave on Facebook, more of my customers to leave on Google. And by doing that, you can create this positive score, positive sentiment everywhere. And that's a big thing. And it comes back to that transparency thing. I think if you've got 5-star here and 1-star here, I think you can end up in a real mess.
A lot of people they have a preferred, you know, sort of user journey, don't they? And just how people go about their business now. They shop online. You know, they might bump into Google reviews. They might be on reviews. They could be linked.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
But having like a broad approach to, you know, to that review process, it'll only help. We get quite a lot of clients, and you know, we've tried to push, you know, reviews, you know, .io on clients before that just haven't collected them before, and they always seem to be, you know, sort of scared of putting themselves out there, and it's just, you know, and it's crazy to think that, you know, and the reason they're scared is because of the negative ones. It's not because they don't.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's good businesses, the good outfits, and that seem to not want to create a profile just in case it'll be manipulated and they can't do anything about it. And there's a lot of, again, you know, it comes back to that power. It is absolutely, you know, a powerful tool, but you know, you know, couple of businesses I've got on the top of my mind, they've taken the jump and they're up there now, you know, and they're rocking 5-star reviews. Great business.
I think that's the old way of looking at it. I don't think businesses can look at it there. I don't care if you use my platform or use another platform, but yeah. I think you've got to have something, or even if you're using in-house, or even if you're just going, right, we're a smaller company and I'm just going to get Alison to send out a few review collection request emails, you know, just do that. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
You know, do that and then highlight them, you know, but doing nothing is bad, because what then happens is that you do have that hiccup, you do have that bad bit of service that then gets you negative reviews, and then you're sitting on a 1-star on multiple platforms, and you're just going to be getting no sales.
Yeah. Well, what's your take on replying to reviews, Callum? Is it something that should be done for advertisers? Is it something that
100% reply to negatives. If you
Yeah.
get a negative, stand up and go, right, this is how I've acted after. Show your potential customers, look, when this goes wrong, these people are there for me. They'll put it right, and show your customer how you put that right, how you dealt with that, whether you changed your policy, whether you changed your delivery firm, whether you apologized to the customer and offered some kind of credit, a discount code or something like that. But show your customer that you actually care about that potential customer, that you actually care about that feedback, and show that customer who left that negative that you care about that feedback and you're trying to put it right. Whether you're trying to put that right by a monetary thing or you're trying to put it right by a procedural thing, it doesn't matter, but show you're trying to you acknowledge that you underperformed, and you explain how that won't happen again. And I don't think you'll lose that customer, but also you'll win thousands of other customers.
I'll be honest, I tend to, when I again, just thinking of my own shopping experience, I tend to look for reviews, and I'll the 5-star ones, they're not really, they're not.
They don't give you as much as the negatives, to be honest.
Yeah. So the 5-star ones, it's like, great, yeah, I can trust the company. But you sort of take that as that should be a given anyway. But so whilst you see 1,800 5-star reviews, great, right? I feel like I can trust it. You'll always try and find the bad stuff. You'll always try and go the other end of the scale. Where because businesses leave like 5 stars or 1-star reviews, there's always that person that's just trying to strong arm you into doing something. But I don't know, they're interesting. Some people are pathetic, aren't they?
The 1-stars some give you insights. Some of them are comical, where you just go, clearly, no matter what. And review people reading the reviews are savvy, and they know clearly, like that person, you couldn't have made them happy. They were going to leave a negative review no matter what happened, because they got out of bed on the wrong side of the bed that morning. But there is somewhere it is, they've got genuine gripes, and you've got to address those with a reply. And I think if you craft a good reply. And that is a skill in itself, crafting a good reply to a negative. I think it can be spun into a positive. We've got companies who reply to every single positive review. I don't recommend that, because I think that looks like you're trying too hard, and almost, what the hell are you doing with the rest of your day?
A lot of time on your hands, yeah.
Yeah, you've got a lot of time on your hands. If you're replying to 50 positive reviews every day, you know what I mean? If they're all, thank you, Alison, for your review. I mean, why am I saying Alison all the time? If you're replying to every positive review you're going to get, you're really not going to get much work done. So I wouldn't. I don't think that looks great. Do the odd one where it's exceptional. Whether it maybe left a photo or a video, but definitely every negative, because you've got to show your potential customers you're addressing these concerns and you're concerned about them. I think that's the key. And if you do that, it's not a negative in my eyes. If you get a good reply, it's not a negative.
What would be your take, Callum, on e-commerce companies e-commerce, because that's specifically what we're focusing on now, but I guess companies in general who dispute reviews. So I think this is one that we have experience of it with your largest competitor, who I am not giving them the courtesy of naming them. Yes. But we had an issue where we had some fake reviews, I suppose, on there, and we disputed them. There was no invoice records for that customer or anything. Yeah. And they actually mark that as the advertiser or the business has disputed this review, and then hide it. Now, what's your take? I guess also, how do reviews approach that? But what's your take on it? Do you think that looks worse to an end user because it looks like the business is trying to hide something, or do you think there is some value in disputing those reviews that you don't agree with, or you don't agree with the story the person's put across?
So, if you think, like in your case, where it's not a genuine customer, dispute the review 100%. Should that disputed review show to actually, they're sort of giving you a bit of a negative there. that's got a negative impact that you've disputed those reviews. I as a platform, we don't, if it's a disputed review and we agree that that's not a legitimate customer, and we find out, we email that customer and say, hi, can you send me that invoice? Can we get that receipt? Can we get proof? And if they don't give proof, we remove it. We don't then say, you've disputed that review, that one review. Now, if you come on and, like, we've got one client, it's not a client, but they dispute every single negative review they get. And they give the same reason. And we have had to put a warning on there that they will dispute X every negative review. But if you're disputing one review legitimately, or a couple of reviews legitimately, they're not customers. Non-customers should not be leaving reviews, and that shouldn't damage you in any way. And we're passionate about that. And we're pretty good at identifying if it's not a customer, because if it is a customer and they've took the time to leave a review, they will take the time to send you the receipt or the invoice or a screenshot. They will. And that's the thing. And if they can't, then that review should be removed, because it's showing that they're not a genuine customer. You've got the issue as well of libelous or defamation reviews. Where do you draw the line there? What is libel? What is, we're not aiming to be a legal team, but kind of we're caught in this crossfire between the company saying remove this review and the reviewer going, no, my thing's legitimate, my complaint's legitimate. And we handle them on a case-by-case basis and just try and be human. And we don't allow profanities or naming of staff, because the naming of staff we think is wrong, because it can turn into bullying and can give mental health issues and so forth. And it's not fair, But yeah, the libelous and defamation is the tricky area where we have to call it, and we do. And a lot of times we go back to that reviewer and go, look, can you rewrite this review? And then if they say no, we can't publish that, because it falls under what we consider to be libelous. There's a lot of other platforms out there that you can post that. We're not the only one. But you can't do that here. But yeah, it's a really tricky area. But they're definitely, if it's not a genuine customer, reviews should only be left by genuine customers. It's a tricky, very, very hard area. Similar to what Lee was saying about, people leaving negatives on Google. They do that out of spite, and they're probably not even customers. We've had it. We had one guy where,
you get a review and it's 1 star and there's no comment on it.
I don't understand that. I don't understand why Google do that. It offers no value.
Yeah.
Because the more reviews you leave, the higher. I know I'm going way away from e-commerce. I'm going back to my local SEO agency days. But the more reviews you leave, the more points you get, and the higher level local guide you become. And if you reach certain levels of local guide, you get certain things. Like, for example, if you hit level 5 this year, you got a pair of socks with a Google logo on it. Right?
Yeah.
So little things like that.
Nice.
So you see people that will just go around every business in the local area, and they'll go 3 stars on everything, and Google will not give you as many points for a star only review as they would a full text review, but they'll still give you points for it. And there's absolutely no checking in place if you're legitimate. There's no checking for how many reviews you're leaving or anything like that. So you go through, you spam click them all, you're a level 10 guide before you know it, and you get your socks and t-shirt for the year. So that's why people do it. It's dumb, but it's the way it is.
But I don't see the value. I don't know why Google are publishing that review if it's just a 1 star and no text. That offers no value. I mean, Google say they're all about the user experience. That offers no value to a user coming on. What is that 1 star doing? What is that?
It's not even a review, is it?
It's not a. It's a rating, and it's not. It offers very little value, and apparently Google's all around. From my SEO days, or Google's all around offering. You've got to offer value.
Apparently, that's a good word.
Apparently.
Right, I'm going to have to stop you there, guys. I think there was, we had dozens of questions coming around this sort of topic, but we could be here all day, I think, talking about it. So I think
Sorry.
it's definitely something we'll probably kind of revisit again on a separate sort of chat, I think, and kind of box off a few more issues and questions people have. But I think it's been, well, I hope it's been really informative for everyone, and you know, they're going to take a lot from it. So yeah, thanks to all you guys for joining us, first of all. And to view all of the show notes and links for this chat, you can go across to ppcprotect.com, and it's under the blog section, and you'll get all the details there. If anyone's watching this on the video as well, just check out the descriptions below, and you can download the individual resources there as well. And then, yeah, hopefully we will see you next time on the next chat. But thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy the rest of your days, and yeah, good luck with everything else.
Thanks, Mal.
Thank you.
Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.